Well, good afternoon and welcome to Orient Live. It feels like it's been an absolute age since we've last been in league action here in E10 on a Saturday at 3 o'clock, but it's finally happening and the O's are facing Blackpool as we go on the hunt for some vital points to climb up the League One table. I'm delighted to be joined in the studio this afternoon by, we've got a little and large combination. We've got the big man Jabbo Abire and his striker partnership. He's the little man, it's Brendan Pitcher. Boys, it feels good to be back on a Saturday here at the Golden Group Stadium. Hopefully, a good game of football's in store.
Yeah, for some reason it feels like it's been a while since we've been here. But yeah, looking forward to a good game. Two teams that will be looking at each other, thinking we can both get points here against each other. Both teams in the bottom half of the table vying to get the seasons back on track. So I think it'd be an interesting proposition today. Some points would be really quite nice for the O's at this point in the season, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's a big game. From what we've seen from the expectations of the season with the squad we have, I don't think we should be near the bottom of the table. And Richie will probably point to some performances and things like that and say we probably shouldn't be there given our performances this season. So it's about getting away from that relegation zone, trying to push up into the mid-table area and seeing where we can go from there. And a good, nice, strong performance like we put in against Rotherham a few weeks ago would go quite nicely here today.
It's an interesting one because at half time or 60 minutes into that game in the FA Cup against Boreham Wood, you'd probably be going, "Oh, confidence will be good. It's a win." Eventually, we won it on penalties, but we've kind of now got to use that shootout win to try and get a little boost and try and get a winning run going.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's what we need. We need that sort of consistency and sort of getting a good result one week, and then can we, build upon that? And of late, we've kind of, we played Rotherham, then lost to Wickham. You kind of need to build that momentum to really start climbing. So hopefully, turning the fortunes from losing at Wickham to then get a positive result. Don't matter how it came, we won. Hopefully we can build upon that today, then keep going and keep building that energy, the belief system within the squad, and then we can start climbing the table.
Right then, we're going to take a look at the teams very shortly, but first let's hear from the gaffer. It's Richie Wellens.
Gaffer, through in the Cup on Sunday, but back to league action this weekend as we welcome Blackpool. How much are we looking forward to it?
Yeah, we're looking forward to a home game on a Saturday, which where we can, I don't think there's much better feelings as a manager of the club or a player of the club when we play at home on a Saturday and the crowd is full and the supporters are at it and we can be aggressive and really get after him. Obviously a big club at this level, but yeah, we're looking forward to it.
Since he's taken over, he had a big impact in there. First of all, what kind of changes has he made to them, and where are they good on the pitch? Yeah,
I think he scored a few late goals which helped, because that kind of just gets you over the line when the game was still a little bit messy at times. 4-4-2 gives a lot of freedom to the wingers to come inside. Sometimes it can look 4-2-2-2. So at times they can drop Lee Evans in the middle of the centre backs on build up. They can send the full back side. So they have a little bit of flexibility. But I think for this league, you only have to look at the strikers: Beasley, Ballard, Kyle Joseph, Jordan Rose, Fletcher. So they have an abundance of options. So it'll be a tough game, but I'm trying to really concentrate on us, because I think it's more important that we try and deal with what we can actually impact.
I'm sure Richie would be very happy with some goals and 3 points this afternoon. And let's take a look at the starting 11 that he's opted for as we go on the hunt for those points. So in goal for the O's, it's 24 after his penalty shootout heroics. It's Josh Keeley across the back line. At right back, Tom James is fit to start, and Jack Curry's on the opposite side of defence at left back, and the two centre backs is Omar Beckles and Dan Happy. The skipper starts wearing the armband in the middle of the field. It's Darren Pratley, and partnering him, looking to impress, is Lewis Warrington after his goal and assist against Boreham Wood as well. Sonny Perkins keeps his spot, and he joins Ethan Galbraith and Ollie O'Neill in that three behind the striker. And leading the line is Dan Adjie, also fresh from scoring in that match in the FA Cup. And on the bench for the O's is Noah Phillips, Jack Simpson, Dialang Jayasimi, Jordan Graham, Zach Abiro, Charlie Coleman and Jamie Donnelly. An interesting one really, Brendan. What do you make of it, really?
Yeah, some big calls in there. I mean, it's difficult to drop Sonny Perkins after a goal and assist against Boreham Wood, and we haven't probably seen the best of him yet in the Orient shirt, but a great chance for him to stake his claim today. Lewis Warrington, a player who, again, we haven't really seen a lot of in an Orient shirt yet, playing in that midfield alongside Darren Pratley, shows that Richie's probably trying to shore it up in there and just trying to keep things tight, and he's got a great chance there to kind of show Orient fans what he's all about, because we haven't seen that yet about Lewis Warrington.
As Brendan says, a goal and an assist in the FA Cup, it would have been incredibly harsh to not start him today. Hopefully, he set up Dan Adgy's goal. Hopefully them two, Dan Adgy and Sonny Perkins, can flourish and find a little partnership.
You hope so. I mean, you want that creative spark. I think, especially against a team like Blackpool today, where they're not, the centre half ain't so dynamic. So if you're going at them and driving at them with the ball, they don't move their feet too well, so we can capitalise on that. And it's nice to see when both strikers scoring, when another one's assisting the other one. You might be able to build some sort of connection, and hopefully they can just build that confidence from last weekend's game going into today's game. Hopefully they begin to flourish.
Absolutely. And let's move to the opposite end of the pitch then, and in goal, Josh Keeley's been impressing. He was probably the hero in that penalty shootout, saving one. He's quite an exciting keeper in the sense he gets you on the front foot, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing in terms of his distribution. I think he's a bit like the closest thing we've had to Lawrence Vigouroux in terms of he wants to get play, and he wants to, if he plucks the ball out the air from a corner or a cross, he wants to get us on the front foot, and I think Richie really appreciates that, and I think maybe at times the defence would like to get settled and get going, but he's proactive, and I think as a goalkeeper, he's decent enough, and he showed that in the penalty shootout against Boreham Wood. Made a couple of decent saves. That will boost his confidence, but hopefully this is a start of him really coming into his own and showing that he's a really, really good keeper at this level.
And continuity is so important when it comes to your defensive unit. Thankfully, Tom James is back in. Now with Josh Keeley kind of behind that back four, hopefully kind of building that relationship and that continuity. That's probably the back line that would be your strongest pick on paper, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd say so. For me, I'd say that's probably the strongest back four. They've had a lot of connection in terms of Haps and Beckles. They've played a lot of games together, and Tom James, of course, and then Curry's fitted into that sort of back four really well. And having now that confidence that Keeley brings, his assertiveness, his speed of foot, and the way he tries to get everyone on the front foot really quickly, they can breed a nice synergy together. So I think them playing together more and more frequently, it will build hopefully a strong unit. Having Pratley just in front patrolling with his experience creates a stronger spine. Hopefully we can build,
Absolutely, and whilst not in the spine, someone who feels so crucial to the way we play is Tom James at right back. It's a massive plus that he's fit for today, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's one of those where, because of Sean Clare's injury, when Tom James is missing at the moment, we really do miss him, because you're putting square pegs in round holes with we've seen Ethan Galbraith, Jordan Brown, Don Ball all fill in there in recent weeks, and because it's not their natural position, it is a bit of a weakness, and so it's so important. We've got Tom James in there who can be his usual self. He's a steady fullback in terms of his defending, but what he also brings is his set piece delivery, his calmness on the ball. He gets us playing out from the back, and I think he's a really important player to this side.
We're talking a lot about playing football, but we're also talking about the defence. So we want to talk about stopping goals. Conceding 2 wasn't ideal at Boreham Wood, and we probably haven't kept as many clean sheets as we'd like to this season. Stamping out those silly goals conceding, that's going to be so important to really kind of boost up our points tally moving up the table, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. I think, a lot of our success in recent years has been the base of having a strong defensive unit and good connections. And I think now with Keeley in there, I think he's bringing something different to the back four, and he's quite commanding considering he hasn't played many games. He brings a certain level of assurance, so I think that will create a nice sort of synergy between the defensive lot. I think maybe we switched off a little bit when you're couple goals up and you're cruising a bit, maybe we switched off and we conceded some goals, but hopefully today we can build upon something, because I think that's crucial, especially when we're not as fluid in the goal scoring market at the moment. So if we need to be solid at the back to have that base to build from.
And let's talk about that midfield duo of Lewis Warrington and Darren Pratley. I'm not sure we've seen much of it so far this season. They're pretty kind of both more of the battling type of midfielders, aren't they? Are you expecting a battle of a game today?
Yeah, I completely agree with what Jabo said about you've got to win your battles first, and this is going to be one of those games where, probably like the Rotherham game, where as long as we just work hard, win your duels, put in the effort, it gives us a foundation to build on, because I think at times we haven't been doing that well enough this season, and when you have Darren Pratley in there, obviously is massive to that, because that's his whole game. He gets the team playing in terms of he'll put a foot in when needs to, he'll calm everyone down when he needs to, and he shows that leadership. And then Lewis Warrington is a player that probably isn't going to bomb on a lot from centre mid. He's probably just going to sit in there with Pratley and just try and control the game from there. I think Blackpool, by all accounts, are a side that kind of like to leave space and like to go forward at all opportunities. So if we can just keep that midfield tight, do everything simply, then it gives us that platform to build on, like we did against Rotherham.
He's only a couple of years younger than yourself, Jabba. Darren Pratley. He's still performing at such a level, and he does bring that experience, doesn't he? And how important is that?
Yeah, he's class, and especially when you can really appreciate how tough it is to keep going, keep that mindset going, because you've seen it so many times, you've played so many games, so to get yourself up for it and have that bit between your teeth is just fantastic, and it's a great credit to him. But I think he's someone who leads by example, and when he's on the pitch, people have that confidence that in specific times in the match where he knows when to maybe go down. I'm not saying he should go down, but to manage the game at certain points in the match. He also got the know-how, and I think he just offers a certain skill, and with that wealth of experience into the team, that just settles things down when it's a bit of pandemonium, and especially in the position we find ourselves in. It's nice to have that leadership and that experience within the side.
We'll come on to Blackpool in a bit more depth, but just talking about game management and know-how, Steve Bruce in the dugout for them. So do you feel that side of the game, managing the game, is going to be even more important today? He's a very good manager for this level, so we're going to have to match that almost, and really be on our game as well, aren't we?
Yeah, definitely. But you can see in terms of the team selection, he's gone for in the heart of the team. He's gone for people that he can trust. I've got the experience. I've got the sort of games and the connection between them all to kind of match in terms of Steve Bruce's amazing sort of catalogue of games and his experience and stuff. And although I think Blackpool haven't won a game, had victory in the last 5, he knows how to get them going. He's probably been there many times in his career. So I think both teams have a lot to play for, and having that experience, whether in the dugout or on the pitch, is going to be really vital today.
It certainly is. And of course, you probably haven't remembered, or you can't remember what it's like to play at 3 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon, but it is that. So don't forget, today's game is only available to stream outside of the UK. Fans in the UK, you can pick up an audio pass to listen along with Dave and Matt Hiscock. But if you're watching along live on our YouTube stream and you are outside of the UK, you can also watch along with us here on Orient Live for just £10. Now, before we take a look at the visiting side, it's time to hear from a club legend. It's Terry Howard.
Terry, 3 points last time out here. How hopeful are we of hopefully getting the same again?
Very winnable game today. It's not to say you can take Blackpool lightly. I think we need a performance like the Rotherham game. I thought that night it wasn't the greatest quality, but you've got to have the ability to, when you're not playing well, to scrap it out. And I thought that night we done that ever so well.
If we think back to a couple of the other league wins, so we went away to Stockport, played really, really well, got 4 goals, but as you say, the Rotherham game was a bit more of a scrap. So to win in a different kind of way, how much would that have pleased Richie, do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, listen, in football, you've always got to find a way, whether it be playing good football, scrapping, whatever. I mean, today it'd be lovely if we get the ball down. I say it most weeks, if we could get an early lead, it would make a massive difference to the boys' confidence. The longer it goes at 0-0, as I said before, again, I just hope the crowd stays with us. I know there's been a few rumblings, understandably, because the results haven't been that good. But today, I can't remember the last time we scored an early goal at home. I mean, we haven't scored many goals at home, full stop. But I just think it makes such a difference to the boys' confidence if we can get our noses in front.
Since the Rotherham game, we had the defeat at Wickham, and then we edged past Bournemouth in the Cup. When maybe confidence is slightly fragile, it's just about building up those wins, isn't it? It doesn't necessarily matter how they come, it's just about getting the wins.
Yeah, I mean, once again, I think for about an hour, 65 minutes last week, it was all going ever so well against Boreham Wood. I think we made some changes that, the sort of the rhythm maybe got upset a little bit. Once Boreham Wood scored, they got something that to cling on to, and in the end, we were probably a little bit fortunate to get through, but it doesn't matter how you get through. All you've got to be is in the next round of the Cup, which we are. Another winnable game, Oldham at home once again. That's something to look forward to. The Wickham game, listen, Wickham are the form team of the division at the moment. They're comfortably beating everyone. Sometimes you've got to be lucky when you play certain teams, and certainly Wickham at the moment are a team to avoid.
Top stuff there from Terry, and now just a very quick reminder, our upcoming game against Huddersfield Town, that is a £10 fixture. It's going to be nice to see that man Josh Koroma again, the National League champion. He's coming back, but hopefully he won't be scoring any goals or taking any points back up to Huddersfield with them. That's on Tuesday the 26th of November. It's a 7:45 kickoff, and as I said, adult tickets are just £10 each, so head over to the club website to pick up your ticket now. Make sure you don't miss out on that one. And it's an interesting one, talking about kind of rearranged fixtures. We've got another rearranged fixture which would have been on the 16th. We've got FA Cup. There's not many league games. Does that make today almost even more important to be getting some points on the board?
Yeah, absolutely, and it also makes it tough. I think we've spoken a bit already about it's been a bit of a stop-start season. We've got some really good results, but we haven't followed it up. And I think it makes it difficult to follow things up when you're having breaks every couple of weeks and you go in 9, 10, 2 weeks without a game, and it's a struggle. And I'm interested in see what kind of how Richie manages it, because we've seen in recent seasons we might have had the odd international break off, but this season we've really seen it's every time there's an international break we're stopping our season, and it's kind of halting our momentum a little bit.
Blackpool then, we'll come on to them now, Jabbo. They are what is standing between us and 3 points. You said it yourself, they haven't won any of their games in the last 5. They'll be looking for those 3 points just as much as we will. Yeah,
of course. I think they'll be looking at it as an opportunity for them to get back on the road to climbing up the table and everything. So I think as much as we're kind of licking our lips at this fixture, it's a juicy fixture for them. They want to get back to winning ways. Had a strong start to the season, but in recent form they haven't. They've got a couple of draws and the rest have been defeats. And they've conceded 12 goals in the last 5, so they're there for the taking. If we can start off sharp, like Brendan was saying earlier, if we can earn the right to play and match them, a bit like Rotherham, they come at us or we went at them, then we earn that right, then we can start doing our football. But we need to go out there and really give it to them.
Well then, it's Steve Bruce's boys who are coming to E10 looking to take all of the points. So let's take a look and see how the visiting side are lining up for this afternoon's fixture. So in goal for Blackpool is their number 1. It's Richard O'Donnell. Across the back line, at left back we have Hayden Coulson, and Odelega Ofaya is on the other side of the defence. Oliver Casey and Jordan Lawrence Gabriel firm up those centre-back positions. Sonny Carey and Lee Evans start in the heart of the midfield, with Robert Apter and CJ Hamilton on either flank. Dominic Ballard and Carl Joseph are the 2 strikers as Blackpool shape up in this 4-4-2 formation. And on the bench for them is Harry Tyler, Matthew Pennington, Elliot Embleton, Dominic Thompson, Ryan Finnegan, Jordan Rhodes and Ashley Fletcher. It's an interesting one, isn't it, Brendan? They had a really good turn of form when Steve Bruce came in. Tailed off a little bit, but they're still a big club for this level. Ex-Premier League manager. It's not going to be a walk in the park.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's one of those games where both Richie Wellens and Steve Bruce will be coming into this game thinking, on recent form, we can kickstart our season again here. And you look at that Blackpool side, and I think it's not many teams play 4-4-2 in League One these days, and it leaves you quite open. I think Richie's gone in there today with our midfield 3, and I think the midfield battle will be key, because Lee Evans for Blackpool is their best player for me. He can dictate from deep. He's a Wales international. He's one of those players where if it weren't for injuries, I think he'd be playing in the Championship. But he's managed to stay fit this season. He's been Blackpool's key player, and if we can stop him in that midfield, then we can stop kind of Blackpool's route to success and attack.
They beat League 2 Gillingham in the FA Cup, but before that in the league, their last win came on the 28th of September against Burton. They'd won 3 games on the bounce then as well. They've had some tricky games, it seems on paper, similar to us really. It's a bit of a tough one to call this, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be tight. And like I said, both managers will be, hoping their team can prevail and they can just then kickstart, because whoever gets the result today, it's a nice result against a good team that, you can continue and build that momentum. So both teams will be definitely up for it, but it's just how fast we can start and can we match the intensity to earn that right to play.
Carl Joseph leads the scoring charts for them. As you've already said, in any level of football in England, you rarely see a 4-4-2. You definitely don't. Strike partnership seems to be a thing of the past. Be an interesting matchup with their front two and Happy and Beckles, won't it? Yeah,
they're going to go at us, I think, by the looks of it. Those 2 wingers in Apter and Hamilton are really attacking wingers as well. So you've almost got like a 4-2-4 there, where they're going to be breaking in numbers and it's going to put extra pressure on that defence. So it'll be interesting to see how kind of Richie handles it from a tactical perspective. I don't think we played against 4-4-2 much this season, but if we can kind of keep it shored up at the back, to do our job simply and win the battles, then we can perhaps catch them on the counter-attack.
We've been speaking a lot about battles. Do you think it'll be a closely fought battle, or do you see this one being a bit more open? And as you said, they're attacking. We'd quite like some points and some goals against us on the league table. How do you see this one unfolding out?
Going by Blackpool's record since Steve Bruce has come in, there's been a lot of goals. They've generally just gone at teams, and when that happens, it doesn't matter how the other team sets up, they're going to have to come and play as well. So I'm expecting, hopefully, an entertaining game today, but I'm hoping it's going to be one that Orient can get the better of if they kind of, like we've said, win the duels, earn the right to play, like Jabbo says, and then we can do our stuff.
I mean, historically, looking back in recent years when we faced Blackpool, we haven't won too many of the battles, but that kind of goes out the window. When it's crunch time, today the past doesn't matter, does it? We need to just be really focusing on our game and ensuring we go out there and put on a 10 out of 10 performance. Yeah,
100%. And what's nice this time, we've got sort of 2 strikers that have, come off last week scoring goals and getting assists, so they're confident and they'll be wanting to build upon that, because sometimes when you ain't scored in a while and get your first goal, you're like, right, next game I'm going to score again, I'm going to score again, so they'll have that momentum. Hopefully that will give us some sort of real sharpness up top.
Let's very quickly remind ourselves of how the O's line up. There's not long to go until kick-off, and we will be handing over to the commentary team slightly earlier than usual, but just to remind you of how the O's shape up. So in goal is 24, Josh Keeley, who keeps his space after the fine performance in the shootout against Boreham Wood. Across the back line, Tom James is fit enough to start at right back, and Jack Curry returns in at left back and in the heart of the defence. It's Omar Beckles and Dan Happy. In midfield, the skipper starts wearing the armband. It's Dan Pratley alongside Lewis Warrington, who will be hoping to impress. Sonny Perkins, Ethan Galbraith and Ollie O'Neill are playing just behind Dan Adjie, who leads the line. And on the bench for the O's, we have Noah Phillips, Jack Simpson, Dialang Jayasimi, Jordan Graham, Zach Abiro, Charlie Kelman and Jamie Donnelly. Feels quite big, this, Brendan.
Feels quite big indeed. If you're going to push me for a prediction, 2-1 O's.
2-1. I mean, a win would be very nice, I think. It's probably a bit of an understatement. Are you confident the O's can go out there and claim all 3 points, Jabbo?
Yeah, I'm confident. I'm confident they can do that. And I've got a feeling that something's telling me that Curry's going to score today. So if I'm going to put that out there, Curry's going to score.
So for doing a bet builder, 2-1, Jack Curry to score. We'll see how much that returns. But it's time to hand over now to Dave Victor and Matt Hiscock.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Girl Group Stadium, Brisbane Road. It is always a special occasion